What up, fam? Welcome back. Back in this thing. We are in the great state of Vermont. It's been beautiful out here. Through some serious mountains to get here. Not too serious. You know, the West Coast be killing it compared to this. Anyway, I am masculinity architect Dwayne Langham. This is the Ave, Yolo Ave. The road least traveled, and you have just tuned in for another Sugar Shred update. It's a Sugar Shred, bitch! Sugar Shred 15. Joining me on the journey to 15% body fat through sugar fasting. What's the latest? Don't have a weigh-in for you, but I got a topic. The synchronicity is just in the ether. Shout out to the guy, Oak City Strong. Been following, watching his videos for some time. He got started right around the time I did, or a little before, when the sugar diet, sugar fasting was a, big, what do they call it? Fad. There we go. Very popular and all that. Sugar channels popping up left and right. Only people really living it are still talking about it from what I can tell. Shout out to the guy, Mark Bell. He has shifted a bit, but I always love his perspective because he's still practicing it and looking into everything involved. But get to the title at hand. When I say the synchronicity, because I see the title of the video, my video, and just before I'm thinking, I want to post and talk about that. Like I said, I see Oak City Strong saying the same thing. How sugar fasting will preserve your muscle without all the protein. Because I'm wondering to myself, check it. And it says it distinctly in the title. Recommended protein. And I, like I'm sure everybody fucking else, or at least the majority if you're into the bodybuilding world, if you're looking to put on gains, muscle mass, what is it, 0.7, anywhere from 0.7 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass. That is the recommended for muscle building, for strength building, recommended protein intake. And that is something myself, even at 200 plus, when I started sugar fasting, I was 248. Beginning of the year, I was 278. So yes, I've lost about 50, 60 pounds this year. But I was following the recommended of 200 grams of protein plus a day. That's some intentional fucking eating. That's an intentional nutrition plan, because I don't believe in dieting. It's an intentional lifestyle. That is a lot of fucking protein, people. So I tout on 3 steps for body transformation, for lifestyle, because I don't believe in a diet, lifestyle, for maintenance, for whatever your goal is. Put on muscle, lose fat, whatever. Transform your body. 3 things you got to work with. 1, your discipline. What is it you're eating? When you're eating? What do you put in your body? You wrap that down, that's the first step. Second step is nutrition, understanding all the shit that you're putting in your body. When you learn to manipulate these macros, the body responds every fucking time. It's not that sugar fasting is the be-all, end-all for me. It is a heaven-sent blessing for the lifestyle I want to live, and I've seen the same thing. When you fast, your body responds. That's impacting your nutrition and your discipline. When you keto diet, protein sparing modified fast. I'm sure haven't tried a carnivore diet. Whenever you manipulate the macros, sugar fasting, sugar diet, it's just going to happen. The body responds. But the question I have to ask, I'm not losing anything. I'm not any less strong. I've shared with y'all that I've been on this journey for 27 years, starting with 8th grade football, 13 years old, getting into health and fitness with the goal of losing fat. I've had a transformation of 100 pounds 7 years ago at the age of 33. That's how long before I started seeing the real results. So this foundation has been building for decades. And now actually ripping and shredding away with sugar fasting, why it's been a godsend, why it's been fitting into my lifestyle is because I get to actually see the results and enjoy my life and reset within 24 hours. But I say all that to say, up until this year, and especially in the last few years, when I was measuring all the macros, protein sparing modified fast, weighing my food, weighing myself, when I've gotten so meticulous to get the type of results that I'm getting, 200 grams, that was a minimum, 200 grams of protein. Now, to quick breakdown on macronutrients, crash course, right? Protein, carbohydrates, fat. Fat, carbohydrates, or sugar are your energy sources. That's what your body uses to move around. Fat is a bit more calculated. It has natural, innate abilities to do so, But typically, fat is stored for the emergency. Fat is the hibernation type energy. It's slow burning. It's clean. It's light. If you get into that, if you're into carnivore, if you're into keto dieting, like, it's effective. It has its benefits. That's how I lost my first 100 pounds. It takes something, though. You have to get fat adopted. You have to get your metabolism geared to producing ketones, to breaking down ketones. It's not something, they do have androgenous that are coming out, and I've actually used those earlier this year, and it can be effective. So ketosis is a thing. It is a possibility, right? Your body burns it as energy. However, glucose, sugar, carbohydrates, all the other shit, the other fuel source, to flip it, carbohydrates, in my experience, is so much more effective, adaptable, easy to adhere to, because you can easily reset the next day just grabbing some fruits, some juices, some honey. There's so many options. It's so cost effective. It's so efficient. It works so fast. There is no 3 weeks to get fat adopted. It's literally give your body 12 hours to burn whatever protein, whatever fat you may be digesting, and get onto some sugars. Pretty much go to bed, wake up the next day, start over, and your body's going to be doing what it needs to do. Within 2 or 3 days, whatever you might have binged out and had, I've seen channel after channel, I've experienced it myself, when you do want to splurge, when you do want to live, when you do have some festivity, some social activity, something to live into, yeah, you're going to see the same things that happen on a weekly basis, my experience, in restricting carbs, going through ketosis, and then craving a pizza, craving cakes, donuts, waffles, whatever your thing is. But when you finally do get that sugar in, because of how the body is geared to fat, it has such a devastating impact. And when I say that, I mean overnight, 6 to 8 pounds just over a weekend with a couple of donuts or a couple of meals that don't fit the routine, and having to dig back into a full week of discipline. And that's the yo-yo cycle that I've experienced. I'm just speaking to my habits, my experience, and what I know others pretty much testify to having the same. And so you have to be super disciplined for super long time. But those are your energy sources. That's how that experience works. Protein, hair, bone, teeth, muscle, mass, like, that's the building blocks. It's not energy, it's the building blocks. And I'm left with the question, because under the recommendation, gram for pound of body weight, 200 grams of protein, that's a lot of meat, that's a lot of protein. I'm a big guy. I do everything big. I've never had a problem with, gimme, all of it. Yep, take it, no problem. I can put away some food, y'all. I didn't get 378 pounds by dieting. But then the question is, now that I've found sugar fasting, I eat that recommended amount, what I used to eat, 200 to 300 grams of protein. I eat that in a week. And again, I'm not losing anything. At the same time, stimulus. I used to work out 6 days a week, religiously. Cardio, lifting, all of it. Because of my lifestyle, and also because of what I'm doing inside of this sugar fasting, I'm pushing and experimenting and testing. I'm no less strong. I have no less size. I haven't measured. I'm not going by the inches. I'm not on stage bodybuilding. But it's into a life, right? I'm talking to the regular person. Yolo Ave, you only live once. You only get this body, this vessel, this temple to go through life once. And I'm left with the question, well, damn, if I was eating 7 times more every single day, 200 grams of protein, and I've done my research, I've come to understand, like, really, you've got a couple of years. Somebody like me who's been training for so long, you've got a couple of years to build a solid foundation, usually early on in life or early on in your lifting, and then you're going to hit a peak, especially if you're not using any kind of PEDs, right? Performance enhancing, steroids, TRT, whatever, testosterone, any kind of things like that. Nothing extra coming in, no sauce. Naturally, your body's going to reach its potential, right? Squat 500, bench 300, like, get all up there. And after a while, it's like, I'm not competing, so what the fuck am I doing this for, other than encouraging injuries? And let me just maintain, let me just look good, let me just feel good. And so in doing that, and now in this lifestyle, I get in the gym about once, when I'm intentional, 2, maybe 3 times in a week. And that's usually when I'm off the road, usually when I can get access to weights and train, right? Because I still love it, love the stimulus, and I know it is going to increase to make sure I do increase size, keep as much strength as possible. But inside of that, what I'm experiencing is a complete opposite of the spectrum, where again, what I had daily, I now have weekly. And just to keep you up to speed, you saw the thumbnail, went to IHOP, had a spinach and mushroom. I left the protein off because I'm 4 days into sugar fasting. I'm not following any particular routine. That's another thing. I'm not having to meticulously measure anything. I'm not having to, I do keep track of what I eat as far as looking at the carbs and just in general. But usually by dinner, I'm off the scale. I'm off the track. I'm not looking to keep it inside of something. When I was on protein and other things where, like I said, carb restricting, looking for the protein, looking for the fat, that's when I had bloat, inflammation. That's when I would put on 6 to 8 pounds in 24 hours just from having some splurging foods, right? And just looking at all the symptoms, I am intuitively eating. So far, I've had an apple, 2 bananas, honey on everything, some rice cakes, back into my sugar diet, what I typically have. A naked juice, what was it? Not the mango one, but the blue dream machine, something like that. So what I'm noticing when I think about that is not having all that protein. Is it all that meat that's causing the inflammation? Because I'll tell you this, fam, also, when you experience a transformation, when you experience getting the discipline dialed in, when you know what you're putting in your body, when and why. So everything down to your bowel movements, gas, and I don't mean to be TMI, and this is reality. Like I start understanding this thing is a machine. What I put in here is going to fuel me, take care of me, build me up. And so it leads me to wonder, God damn, I'm still at family's house, other places I've stored away meats and proteins because I was stocked up. That was the lifestyle. And I don't eat that within a week. I still love it. I'll still go cook it. And I don't need it. I don't need it to maintain my muscle mass. And I'm still getting cut up, ripped, shredded inside of sugar fasting. So it just makes me wonder, what is all that protein doing? Where does it all go? And what do you really need? There's recommended, and yes, if you are building up your body, if you're somebody young, if you're somebody who's never been in the gym, this is all new to you. If you are on any type of TRT or testosterone, if you're in the building phases, yes, it has its purpose. That's a long road. That's not an overnight thing. Burning fat off is so much easier than building muscle. I never had a hard time with it because I started so early with sports and everything. But the whole context is that's a journey that I know. You're lucky if you put on 5-10 pounds of solid muscle mass in a year. So, but once you reach that threshold, once it's a maintenance thing, and ask any trainer who's going to be honest, who's not trying to sell you anything, or maybe they're already your trainer, if they can be real with you. Does it really require so much? Where does all that protein go? How much hair, teeth, bones, muscle mass is really being needed? We're talking about 200 grams a day to maybe, I might get 200 to 300 grams, be conservative. I might get 300-400 grams of protein a week when I splurge, when I have that. Actually, no, I didn't even have any meat on that. That was mushrooms and spinach. But where does all that go? Why is all that needed? And it's just the stimulus of training, working out. Why do you have to do such a thing? What does that really impact with what you're up to? How you doing? He said, no, I'm not looking. Walking around giving steps. I'm with Prime. We're parked over in the A-lot. All good, man. Yeah, so where does all that go? What is it that gets done with 200 grams of protein? And the only thing I'm experiencing is how much quicker my body adapts, how much easier my system clears out, how even when I have that cheat meal, even when I splurge and have the protein, my body snaps back the next day. I'm not even hopping on the scale at this point. I'm not needing to be, when I say intuitive, right? I lived for so long that I could only see results if I was diminishing, and this is where Mark Bell talks about it a lot, shrinking my metabolism. Having 1,600, 1,800 to 2,000 calories, that was my sweet spot for fat loss, to ink out 1 to 2 pounds of fat loss. Now I intuitively eat, and just on sugars, 2,000 plus. This guy's out here working This whole lot was empty. None of the reefers or trucks or anything parked around. That's why I was out here. But anyway, so now on the sugar, 2,000 calories easily. I'm intuitive. And then if I decide to have something at the end of the day, I do, because I'm sugar fasting. When I was talking about my routine, I go 3-5 days sugar fasting, just the fruits, juice, honey. That's it. And then I'll have some protein. I do mix rice in there for some starches, right? Something hot and warm. Still maintain all the same progress. But as I'm looking at my footage, I'm looking at my content, I see the vascularity, I see the fat melting off, I see the results happening. I can recognize that the longer I sugar fast, the more cut up I'm getting, the more results I'm getting, the vascularity increasing, like the results that I'm looking for are happening. Definition, having to give my skin time to keep up, which is much rapid fat loss that's happening. But that's a genuine question, right? For anybody out there watching who has the knowledge, I would actually like to know. I know the recommendation. I know what it takes to build. If you're not in that, if you're in the maintenance phase, or if you're cutting, what is the risk? My experience, I don't want to tell anybody. I'm not a nutritionalist. I'm a motherfucker out here living life, experiencing it for myself. I ain't lost nothing. I still get in the gym and make it happen. Now, don't get me wrong, working out as less as I do, I'm not going to say I feel the strongest. However, the counter to that, as I've told you before, my pregame, honey, sugar, even if I'm having candy, pumping up on the sugar, I have the extra energy. When I go run, when I go sprint, I have the extra energy, so I can still train. I can still give my body the stimulus. And the stimulus is what's important. Getting the workout is what's important, is what I've experienced. The protein, I do value it, and I do feel, especially now that I'm going 3-5 days on average without having protein on a regular basis, I do experience, and that's, you're going to get source traces amounts of protein within all the foods that you eat, even if it's candy. But to that, getting nowhere near 200 grams of protein, and I'm not just melting away, as long as I'm giving myself stimulus. And by that, body weight exercises, push-ups, air squats, like whatever you can do to feel the burn is going to tell the body that it needs to keep it and hold on to it. And that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what I'm experiencing. So I wanted to share that. I wanted to pose that question. I really wanted to challenge, as someone who is adopted, we've kind of watched it overall. When things shift away from Iron Strong in the 80s and 90s, Arnold Schwarzenegger type days, and now he's even been in Expendables. What was at one point you hit like a vegetarian and shit, and now he's talking about plant-based diets and things. Not that he's doing that now, but the whole mass media, everything has shifted. What you've been told, what you've experienced, and I say that as a person who has followed the recommendations, has followed. Oh yeah, I mean, even back to my younger days in competing in sports. Give me all the food, give me all the protein. Of course, those are the things that kept me from my first transformation at 33 until I got to a point of finding discipline. Till intermittent fasting didn't sound like voluntary starvation to me. And that's when I lost weight. Getting the discipline, learning about nutrition, learning about ketosis. I lost the first 60 pounds, intermittent fasting. I lost the next 40 pounds learning about ketosis. Spent some time with the plant-based diet for years. And now on this sugar fasting, still to the nutrition. Activity level, that's the third recommendation. 3 things are my pillars of getting the results. Activity's always been there for me. Started running at 36. But the whole context being nutrition, what goes in the body, and what I'm observing from what I put in my body, is all that protein a good thing? And I am by no means against it. I've been on all sides. I've enjoyed all sides. I can still put away a rack of ribs. I can still bust down a steak. No questions asked. I can still tear up a whole chicken and somebody else's plate, whatever leftovers are around. I can put away some food with no hesitation. And that's what I love about the flexibility of this diet, this routine, this discipline, this lifestyle. And what it leads me to question is, did I really need all that? When I look at the effects of what's actually happening to my body, did I need 200 grams of protein? No, to be honest. What the fuck was my body doing with the extra 3-4 days of protein over what I need for maintenance? And I don't even know what I need for maintenance, but I just can understand and wrap my mind around the results I would get when I'm carb restricting versus a diet that is completely carbs. When people watch me and see me eating sugar all throughout the day, all types of sugar, all sources of sugar, I can go and get a slushie at the gas station. I can go and get some candy. I can go and, eat honey and fruits and juices all day. Sugar, sugar, sugar. Bust down some pancakes when I feel like it. Have some rice. All these things that when I was eating all the protein, when I was eating all the meat, when I was on keto, was the devil. This was my thoughts. I said that to say, right? I see other people that will look at me doing what I'm doing with sugar. How do you do that? That's the devil. I know how they used to think. And at the same time, I'm watching them. And I used to do this on keto as well. I'm watching when I thought sugar was the devil. You watch what people are putting in their body, and it's a whole picture. The meats, the sugars, if there's protein and fat already in there, the protein, whatever the macros are. I guess my message would be, YOLO, you only live once. Really take the time, dig into those 3 pillars, figure out what the fuck you're doing with your body, because it all adds up. If you're sitting on your ass all day, sedentary, sitting in front of the couch, sitting in front of a screen at a computer, sitting, driving a truck, whatever the fuck it is, right? Activity, 10,000 steps, fam. This is the only dedicated religious thing you see. I don't know where the fuck I'm at, somewhere in Vermont. But wherever I go, this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna get my steps. Where are we at? 8,600. Easiest fucking thing, not high intensity. Get the sprints in because I want to keep the metabolism. I want to keep that rock hard every morning. Do some squats when I get in the gym once, twice a week, and that's being intentional. But just changing up the lifestyle, what I'm putting in this body, and I'm getting the body. I'm aging backwards, fam. I'm 41 years old, looking the best I've ever looked in my life. It is a lifestyle. Discipline is a lifestyle. I'm not going to eat this. I'm going to eat that when I eat, what I eat. I don't even regularly intermittent fast. I don't know if I go 12 hours without eating anymore. And that used to be the staple. Why? Because maximize anything and everything was my routine. And now I'm doing so much less. If you go back and watch my videos, I've talked about it. That was my frustration last year, is how hard I've worked for years and decades to not see the results. To have lost 100 pounds 7 fucking years ago and still be busting my ass and be no closer to a six-pack, bouncing between 260, 270. And now I'm training less. I'm doing less cardio. I'm fucking walking. I'm eating more calories. But it's what I'm eating. It's how I'm eating. When I'm eating. The activity level, the type of activity. And I'm getting the results, the lifestyle, enjoying myself, enjoying how I look, enjoying the clothes I'm buying, the wardrobe I'm fitting into. Never be afraid to experiment, fam. That's all I had to say. Just pose a little, it's a rant. Hope you got value from it. I'm gonna check these comments coming in. But by all means, never, because what has happened every time I've caused the transformation, I've gone to the basics of, I don't know shit. Let me go research. Fuck what I've heard. Fuck what's been recommended. Let me go figure out information and let me try, experiment, and find what works for me. And here I am. It may take a lifetime, but don't you fucking tell me it's hard. Don't tell me you can't do it. 27 years, fam. Am I at 28 now? 13 to 41? I don't know. You do the math. But I don't fucking give up. And I'm getting the fucking life I want. Let's check these comments. What y'all talking about out here? Hopefully the crazies haven't gotten on yet. Sugar fasting, meaning no sweets. No, sugar fasting, so when you look at, and who is that? I can't see the name in the scroll, it won't let me. No, sugar fasting, look at it like water fasting. All you're having is water. All you're having is sugar. Now, the important part is sugar fasting is in the absence of fats and proteins. So fruits, juices, honey, table sugar, maple syrup, and yes, candy, soda. Look at the nutrition label. That's those macros. Remember, protein, carbohydrates, which is the sugar, and fats. If there's no protein and no fats, just sugar, that is sugar fasting. You can stick to sugar fasting with just those elements. You can do sugar dieting. Have that early in the day, and in the evening, have your protein, have your carbs and starches. It's not recommended to have fat in it at all, which even, shout out to the OG, Cole Robinson, Snake Diet, and even Mark Bell are promoting increasing the protein, which is why I'm still questioning. I'm not sure why. You see that little right there? That's coming out because there's just no fat, and I'm having a bunch of sugar. I'm not focused on the protein. But anyway, that is sugar fasting. Thank you for asking. I saw another language in here. It's a shame I can't read it. Aaron, what up, big bro? How are you? I'm doing fantastic, phenomenal. Getting these steps in, getting paid on the job up here in Vermont. Beautiful weather. It's a wonderful day. What is today? Wednesday? Yeah. Living life. Happy hump day to you, man. Thanks for asking. Thanks for watching. Whoever this is, I cannot read it. I do not know the symbols, but I appreciate the love. Appreciate you tuning in. A couple of people. You must be on the other side of the world type shit. I don't know why. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern time. Vermont's Eastern, right? Yeah, we're right next to New York. Yeah, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We got people on the other side of the world. Maybe it's late night for them. That's right. I don't even know what y'all are saying, but appreciate you watching. That's all I have for you, fam. Turned into a long one, just a rant. Just had to get the thoughts out. Like I said, it's something to synchronicity. This is a thought I had for myself. I still have not watched, shout out to my guy, Oak City Strong. I haven't even watched his video, but he's talking about the same thing, how the sugar diet, the title said, how the sugar diet or sugar fasting will preserve muscle without constant protein, something like that. I saw that and I was like, oh, fuck it. I got to talk about it now. It's just in the ether. Because I'm sitting here wondering the same fucking thing. I used to have 200 grams a day. I might have 200 grams a week. I'm not withering away. I am still over 200 and I'm guessing 20 pounds. It looks like it. But not even getting on the scale. Intuitively living, eating what I want. You've been seeing the thumbnails. This is the food I eat, people. If y'all want a day in the life food haul or you know what I eat throughout the day, by all means I'll share. But I'm intuitively eating, following this regimen of sugar fasting, and now I'm at the point where I actually am adjusted and enjoy sugar fasting for days on end and break it when I want to break it. It fits really. I can eat like this, enjoy myself, and then when it's time, go enjoy with other people. Go get social. And I still tend to, because I know, I tell you why it's so intuitive, because I'm going by how my body responds. I'm going by how I feel. When I eat that food, when I digest it, how does my body look in the mirror the next day? How does it look? How does it feel going to the bathroom days after? Like, as my body moves through that, that's what I'm actually responding to. Like, yeah, that would taste good. I love donuts. I love waffles, all the sweets, right? And when I think about when I eat a bunch of that, the fat and the sugar together, how I feel, how I look in the mirror, and it slows down my results. Because, you know, as we started with the whole sugar shred, and now the sugar Shred-15 summer shred, summer's already passed, we're midway through September, the goal has been a six-pack. I hit my goal, fam. That's the best part. 225 was the goal, coming down from 278. I hit that, over 50 pounds lost. To find out, well, now I need to go to about 12 to 15% body fat, because that truly is where the six-pack comes out. So understanding that, it takes effort, it takes intentionality, and you know what, by the time I get there, I might not even like the lifestyle that it takes to maintain it and drop the whole thing. But I'm gonna see this six-pack. See, you hear that? That wasn't rock solid. But boy, up here, that chest and pecs, sternum coming out. Cut the fuck up. Anyway, in the meantime, fam, I appreciate y'all watching, appreciate y'all coming along. I'm gonna be right here, wishing you the best, only success, being the best goddamn version of myself. Shit, I'm next to the Amtrak, didn't even know it. Beautiful Vermont. Holla at you. Lift it with me now. The best version feet underpowered, baby. The question is, people, who are you going to be? Peace.